that the Patriots have 10 Super Bowl appearances since the Dolphins last won a playoff game. That's crazy in a league where you're rewarded for being bad and the salary cap makes things equal.
Well, the Patriots were rewarded for being bad. They somehow built themselves up from losing the best coach of all time, the best quarterback of all time, missing on their initial replacement for the best quarterback of all time, having to rebuild that, and now we're here with Mike Vrabel and Drake May. That's the process working. Just don't know why it never works for Miami.
Lamar Jackson defenses have forced 3 turnovers in 8 playoff games. Drake May's defenses have forced 8 turnovers in 3 playoff games.
Yeah, he didn't necessarily have to be super great to get to a Super Bowl, which is a blessing in year 2 because it's invaluable experience. Now, he was big in big moments against a big-time defense in terrible conditions. So I think a lot of the stats, people are cherry-picking, like this guy didn't have to score more than 17 points to get to the Super Bowl. I think contextually, people understand that Denver game was a little bit more difficult, but yeah, it's a credit to Robert Kraft. I'm sure he's really enjoying this one right now.
And then you look at his advanced stats regarding Drake May, and it's like 17 touchdowns, 0 picks against the blitz, and it's like all these different things that show you he's actually a really good quarterback. The problem is they haven't really played anybody, and like that, there's nothing that the Patriots can do. That's the schedule. You got to play the schedule.
These defenses are awesome that they're beating in the playoffs, and if they wind up winning the Super Bowl, it's like the final boss of defense. You're going to have to give them some credit.
For sure.
I want to, though, talk about a couple of things as it relates to the Patriots. I want you guys to go back to right before the pandemic and whatever it is Bill Belichick thought of himself and how he regarded how integral he was to the Patriots' success. If I go to Bill Belichick, let's say 6 or 7 years ago, okay, and I say to him, here's what's going to happen over the next 7 years, your greatness. There's going to be a 10-part series on Apple where Robert Kraft just destroys how important you were to everything that was happening there. Your quarterback is going to leave and immediately win in Tampa. And here's the kicker. One of your linebackers is going to get to the Super Bowl with your team. You're just a guy you coached that was your linebacker is going to go 9-0 on the road, not lose a road game, and end up in the playoffs. At the end of that game, and I want to talk about that game because I got to think, this isn't a empirical stat, but I got to think that for a championship weekend was the most opposite 2 games could be. Like in the history of games being played for a right to the Super Bowl, New England, at the end of that game, Romo would not shut up about how aggressive the call was to bootleg a running quarterback who's your safest option running the football. Romo would not shut up. I can't believe how aggressive a call that was, while in the next game, Sam Darnold is still throwing with less than 4 minutes left because that's what real aggressive looks like.
The best part about that is it wasn't even the call. Apparently, Drake May called his own number there and didn't even tell his teammates. There's a quote here from Garrett Bradbury that said, I hit my block and all the defenders started running the other way. I'm like, what? Oh, my God. After the game, Drake's like, I debated telling you guys if I was going to keep it or not, but I just decided not to. He did that on his own.
I unironically, because we talked about this last week, right, about Romo and he stinks and how I don't really care about that. Like, it doesn't bother me. I was annoyed with Nance and Romo in the game yesterday because they thought it was so cute and so funny that as viewers, we couldn't see where they were on the field because of the snow. Like, it was a big joke to them. Hey, buddy, it's your job to figure it out and let me know as the viewer. I need to know where they are on the field. They thought it was so funny that no one knows where the football is. Figure it out, man.
I'll tell you something that was funny, though. Like, in a game, like we all know this is violent real estate acquisition. We all know that both of those games are decided last night by inches. Like, 4th down and inches is deciding both of the games. The part I did find funny is that referee totally making up when the punts went out of bounds where to spot the ball. Like he was totally,
walking.
he was having, like he could have gone anywhere. He could have walked 40 yards and we would have said that's fine. Like you're talking about these people killing themselves in order to not let someone get 3 yards. And then there's just a slob on the sidelines walking down,
Such a slob.
strolling down the sideline, giving you 9 extra yards. And you're like, yeah, I guess that's where the ball is. No, I don't really know.
Zaz, you know about that WrestleMania 13?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
you know about Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Of
You know what
course.
happened in that match?
Double turn.
Double turn. This playoff championship weekend was the crescendo of a weeks-long double turn in which people decided they actually liked Tom Brady on the broadcast more than Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Yes, good call.
I have for you a funny story from yesterday in that regard because Tom Brady did have a good call.
He might be the best.
Wow!
Tom Brady did have a good call on a play. So on 4th and 1, okay, on 4th and 1, Matthew Stafford breaks Lawrence's tackle and gets an extra half yard to prolong a very tense moment at the end of that game. And Brady, and the key part to that job is enthusiasm, right? It's what John Madden had, and it's what Brady exhibited yesterday when he just shouted, "Oh my God!" And I gasped too, and I'm not kidding you when I say that I would have been less surprised if my coffee table had gotten up and run out of the room to see Stafford run a yard and a half. So I gasped, right? And Valerie's walking past and she hears me gasp and she hears Tom Brady yell, "Oh my God," but she's got no context for everything. So all she's seeing is Stafford fall a yard and a half. And she's like, "Why are you and him reacting that way?" And I looked at her and I'm like, "You don't understand. This guy is old." And she's like, "How old is he?" And he's younger than her. And I'm like, "No, but he doesn't. He's played 17 years in this league, so he's like he's 97.
His body is broken.
Yeah, he almost missed the start of the season with a back injury. And we never actually saw a hit. It just, he woke up, his back hurt. Tom Brady was excellent on that broadcast. And, man, I capitulated on my Brady stock at the worst possible time. I kept telling myself for a couple seasons, he's Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. Put adversity in his way. He'll conquer it. It's just a matter of time. And then I felt like we reached a breaking point where I'm like, this guy's just never going to get better. And I regret that because he found the secret sauce. That team.
He's a good broadcaster.
That team found its rhythm by being, hey, we love a good game.
Yeah.
And they set the table when you're like, hey, partner, you feel that juice a little bit? I'm starting to feel that juice. And they get more excited and they meet every moment. In fact, down to the production elements on the bump-ins, they show them like fist pumping each other because they're just super psyched to watch football. And that's the key. That's how Tom Brady is connecting to us. We don't have any connection points to Tom Brady. We like his story, but that guy's just lived in a different world for 30 years.
The guy who gets to live in a different world over the next 2 weeks than what his 2 weeks would have been like if the result had been different yesterday is Woolen for the Seahawks, the 5th round defensive back who
got lucky.
So on one drive, this felt to me, honestly, like when I see in the animal kingdom, I have to turn away because I don't like watching when the big predators, chase down an antelope. But this felt cruel to me, what happened in this game where he drops an interception on that drive. And then on 4th and 12, after Seattle's made the stop it needs to make, he gets a penalty for taunting the Rams sideline. And on the very next play, they target him with Puka, and not only target him so precisely that you saw while the ball was in the air, Rams running down the field with their arms up in the air, knowing it's a touchdown because Puka and Stafford are so precise.
He doesn't drop anything, Nakua.
It's crazy, but neither does Smith and Jigba.
He's a good player.
Oh, my God.
They're both unreal. And both guys JSN obviously came with
How's
high
he
pedigree.
so open?
Well, they scheme him, baby.
No, it's not just scheming him because they know what's coming when he's in the backfield, and he had 10 catches for 100-plus yards at the half, and his route running. I thought Brady did an excellent job of describing this. He's so compact, and his body stays in the same place, the shoulder height and everything else, that when he swivels his hips, it's always defensive backs are turning. He runs perfect routes, and the precision. Look, Mike McDonald should and Sam Darnold should take the victory lap today on shutting up everybody, including me, because that game, Darnold just beat Stafford at his best. But I want to present to you guys, all of you, the normalization of one-game samples as the measurement system. I'm driving in today, and I hear Rex Ryan calling all the analytics guys nerds again, these nerd dudes, because Rex Ryan is so cool and everybody knows it. The normalization that we have in this sport, Zaslow, of this is the way we measure it. And so today everyone's saying Seattle's the better team. I don't know that. I don't know that. The Rams lost 6 games by a total of 21 points. Like, the Rams, that offense is better at offense than Seattle is at defense. The Rams, this is a real stat I'm about to give you. The Rams defense fell apart. Last 9 games of the season, they allowed scores on 40% of their drives. Like, that Rams defense fell apart and betrayed them yesterday. Stafford should not lose that game. Rarely, if ever, does a quarterback who plays that game lose that game. He did it against the number 1 defense. Darnold did it against a defense that's been bad for 9 weeks.
I get what you're saying, that you don't know if they're better, but they played yesterday, and Seahawks beat them.
They're better. Yeah, but it's a drop punt and 4th down. Like, if Stafford had gotten, no, I don't do that.
Those are the margins.
No, but it's an imperfect measurement system. You don't leave games ever saying to yourself, I don't believe that the team that lost was the better team. Like, that's not proof that the Seahawks are better. They just won that game.
But you started the show clamoring for a best of 3, and they've had a best of 3 this season, and the Seahawks have won 2 of them. And I understand they're close, but I think I have enough representative sample to suggest that Seattle's better.
I'm giving you 50 years of Stafford, of quarterback stats against number 1 defenses, and Stafford's lost the 2 of the 4 quarterbacks that have played in that game. Like, that's an obvious statistical outlier.
Better quarterback. Better team, though, is the discussion, and I think we have enough to say Seattle. After what we saw from Sam Darnold, one of the great reclamation stories in sports, like, I get it. It was super impressive, incredible moment by Stafford gutting that play out, but this is Sam Darnold's time. This is Seattle's time.
I've been having this argument since high school with friends of mine about the way that we decide games, where after those games are played, everyone just says, Seattle and the Patriots are better. And I'm like, I don't know that. I don't, because a guy who was on the practice squad the night before tips a 46-yard kick in the snow, and Sean Payton doesn't go for it or doesn't kick a field goal
That guy.
on 4th and short. Like, and every time I do it, the normalization of the 1-game sample as a measurement is so normal that it's always a losing argument for me. Anytime I do it, because you guys want that to be proof that someone's better. That was not proof that someone's better to me.
They played a game and a team won. I hear you. You could probably feel pretty good about your opinion that LA Rams are better than Seattle, but that's not what the sport is. The sport is played between the lines, and you have to execute in the time that sport allows, and a team comes out on top, and
Mike,
that's the business.
I'm not actually arguing that the Rams are better. I'm saying there's not a difference between those 2 teams. One of them has to win and one of them has to lose, and that's the way we do it.
Yeah, by playing the game.
Head to head.
That's all that matters, is head-to-head. These 2 teams just played, and the Seahawks have lost a total of 3 games by 9 points. You keep doing this with the Rams and all of the games that they've lost close. They also have 6 one-score wins, including both of their playoff wins. Like, they could have easily been a team that missed the playoffs. We've talked all year long with the Chiefs about how it's not really a skill to win those one-score games. Some go your way, some don't. And the Rams' defense is abysmal. They have a great offense, but they don't have a good defense. The Seahawks are clearly the better football team, and it would have been a shame if that number one defense
they're
didn't
not
get an
clearly
opportunity.
anything. Like, get out
They
of here.
have the best
They're-
defense. They've won 2 out of 3
not-
against the Rams. Even with Sam Darnold as their quarterback, they're the better football team. They've won more games, and they've won 2 out of 3. Head-to-head's what matters.
A punt returner dropped a punt.
This is provocative. I'm not sure what you're doing on this day.
No, I'm doing. I'm
This is
telling
a
you.
strange place to take it.
To Dan's point, though, it took a ball bouncing off a helmet and then going into the end zone and somebody picking it up for the Seahawks to win the game
That's the
on Thursday
business.
night.
That's the
and then
business.
a drop punt here on a guy who almost muffed a punt earlier in the game. He dropping that and then them going in for a score.
Rams against the number one defense in football. 2 games, in Seattle. 2 games in Seattle. 64 points, 1,060 yards.
Head to head.
1 turnover, 0-2 record. And it's fine. Like, I'm not actually bothered by this in any way. I'm just saying that the Super Bowl was played yesterday by the 2 best teams in football.
I think Seattle's going to smoke them. I really do.
But Mike McDonald is good against young quarterbacks. Young quarterbacks don't do anything. Hell, what he did with 7 defensive linemen to Stafford on that last play that ended Stafford's season, where he puts 7 defensive linemen on the line and then has only 2 of them rush and drops everyone else back into coverage.
Can I tell you the most shocking part of the game yesterday for me, for Mike McDonald, Seattle Seahawks head coach? I can't be the only one who did not know this. But yesterday, realizing for the very first time that Mike McDonald, when you spell his name, the D in McDonald is lowercase. It's not the capital D. It's not MacDonald. It's the M is capitalized, and the rest of the name is lowercase, McDonald.
Like Norm McDonald?
Did you know that?
No.
Put it on the poll. What an interesting thing from yesterday to be shocked by. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Did you know that McDonald spelled his name with a lowercase d?
Zaz, so you had one of the most incredible play calls in the most clutch situation of all time, where you have 7 guys at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
you
no.
drop 5 of them. You rush 2 on a quarterback who's expecting to have some sort of open man because he sees 7 guys on the line, and then everybody's double covered for basically the game.
Yep.
And what you took away was a little D.
I want to know who decided this guy needs to have a little D.
I'm with you. That's little D energy from
Let's-
Sasco.
what are we doing?
For sure.
Come on, baby.
Here, the way that you do that, the only way to be as successful as Mike McDonald is to ignore your family. Here he is on the subject of, I simply don't have time to see my kids.
I actually think I'm here less, which is, I wish some of our coaches took that as well. But, on Thursdays, I don't get to see Jack throughout the week as much. So Thursdays I try to get, which is today, I try to get home pretty quick to be with him for maybe a half hour before he goes to bed. And then I got a setup at my house where I can go, and then I work on the game plan. But it's able to spend some more time at home and be with Jack. And also it kind of lets you kind of get away from everything and kind of see things from a different perspective, and it keeps you fresh, so it's been helpful. 30
minutes of family time a week keeps you fresh. You have to be sort of lopsided and crazy.
You want to be 14-3, Dan? You want to win good playoff games, Dan? You got to survive. What are you going to do?
Yeah, you can't see your family. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. If you want to be a champion, can you see your family?
You got 30 minutes, an hour maybe. Then you got to work on the game plan again.
The Seahawks, Sam Darnold obviously did make everyone eat it yesterday, because as much as I'm saying it's a punt return and a punt fumble that was the difference in that game, the actual difference in that game is that Sam Darnold was really good in 3rd and long and 4th down, and Stafford was not. And so I've said now for years, you guys have heard me say for about 10 years, the thing I want most from the quarterback position is if the defense fears me on 3rd and 10. The defense does not feel comfortable even if it is 3rd and 12, and Sam Darnold has become that. The Seattle Seahawks are great at explosive plays. Like, they've been great at explosive plays all year, and it has been wild to watch Sam Darnold turn into this and go blow for blow with Stafford against a defense that is the only one in the league that has bothered him. Like, Sam Darnold is the winningest quarterback in the sport by game over the last 2 years, and the Rams had him solved. And for him to make the evolutions where he needs painkillers in order to play in that game, he got needles because he's got an oblique problem. He couldn't throw deep during practice all week. He couldn't throw the ball. He couldn't throw the ball downfield all week. And then second pass of the game, he throws it for 40 yards. The reason they won that game is what they did on third down and long, because he crushed them on third and long and made a whole lot of people, including me, eat it, because I was doubting that Sam Darnold would show up and be better than Stafford. Never mind Stafford at his best. Better than Stafford at all, and he was better than Stafford at his best. That was Stafford's best game of the playoffs. He was okay in the previous 2 games. With a hurt finger, he was great in that game, and it didn't matter.
That for me is the story. Sam Darnold played his best game ever in the NFC Championship game with an oblique injury for a thrower of the football. I understand marveling at what Matthew Stafford does, probably likely MVP if you're to believe the odds on DraftKings Sportsbook, but this was Sam Darnold's moment. And I still think that there is a certain air of skepticism around him, and how can you not love his story? And how he plays, too, because in an era where everyone's so afraid to turn the ball over, Sam Darnold does gun it, dude. Like, he turns, like, he'll throw interceptions, but I do think that it's healthy with him, especially if he's going to stretch the field with that receiver. I was really impressed with Sam Darnold. We'll see what happens in the Super Bowl, because that ends it forever.
I think it's also a masterclass from Kubiak, too, who is incredible as a play caller. You have a lot of these times where they want to run the ball at the end of games. Kubiak's running out play action. He's throwing the ball with 4 minutes left. He's putting JSN in different positions to win outside, inside, in the backfield. There was a play where JSN catches that touchdown completely wide open, where he runs a scissor route from the running back position, where Cooper Kupp is running a whip route to the other side, and he's basically wide open, and the defender has to choose between 2 guys, and JSN's wide open.
Good organizations. I'm sorry, Zaz, but that's my takeaway from seeing what Seattle had to close the book on Pete Carroll. Russell Wilson had to build itself back, had to find itself. Carroll was there for like them trying to tread water with Geno, but they hit the reset button and they got right back to the Super Bowl. Same thing with New England. They hit one of the hardest resets ever, and they're back at the Super Bowl. And I think that's a testament to good franchises, and the ones like the Browns and the Dolphins and the Jets that just struggle with way more chances than these franchises have had to reshape themselves and get back in the game. It's a testament to good ownership and good front offices.
Couple thoughts on Darnold. He's the first quarterback from that famous draft class to get to a Super Bowl, right? It was Darnold, Mayfield, Rosen, Allen, and Lamar Jackson, right? So Darnold's the first one to get to the Super Bowl of that group. And also, has there ever been a starting quarterback in the Super Bowl who's been on 5 teams? Like, this is his 5th team, and he's starting in the Super Bowl. That feels really unheard of for a QB to bounce around like this and to be a starting quarterback.
Let's
in the
think
Super
about
Bowl.
that for a second, because a couple of points I wanted to make off what you guys said. It's forgotten now that the Seahawks wanted Geno Smith back. He didn't want to go back. He wanted to start over somewhere else. So that wasn't even that they got rid of Geno Smith because they wanted to get rid of Geno Smith. They wanted to stay with Geno Smith. What happened yesterday, though, that was interesting to me at the quarterback position is, obviously, we've all gotten used to the Rams trusting Stafford implicitly. The Seahawks trusting Darnold so implicitly with 5 minutes left you're not going to turn the ball over. We know you've got this. We know that we're going to keep throwing on 2nd and 10 and 3rd and 10 when all other teams in the league would be running the ball here. They wouldn't be doing play action here. That part was earned. Sam Darnold has earned that from the Seahawks staff, but it was crazy to watch given what it is that you just said. Going back to what I was saying earlier, though, because I understand why you guys today after that game would say, come on, Dan, the Seahawks are better. You're sure the Patriots are better than the Broncos? Because Stidham, that mistake is the one mistake. That mistake that he made that cost them their season is a mistake of such intergalactic stupidity that it was shocking to see a professional quarterback throw the ball backward when the whole game plan is, Jared, just don't do that. do anything but that. Don't give them the ball at the 12-yard line, because our defense is going to make sure that the Patriots don't go anywhere. The Patriots offense in the last 2 games is as incompetent, and this isn't their fault. It's because the defenses they faced, as mentioned, were so good. But that's as incompetent as an offense can be and get to the Super Bowl. And Jarrett Stidham handed them the game by throwing the ball backward on a pump fake when all he's got to do is throw the ball at the feet of his running back, because his only job in that game is don't do that.
I feel like when I say we're not talking about it, I mean everyone who's talked about the game so far, not this show. That's not getting enough attention because all the attention is going toward the Sean Payton, let's go for 4th down instead of kick the field goal up 7-0. Like, that's getting all the attention, not even the Stidham play.
To be fair, though, there's no way that Sean Payton would have known there was a massive blizzard
Why?
coming.
Why wouldn't he know that?
No, wait a minute.
Why wouldn't he know
wait a
that?
minute. Wait, there are a couple of things. Wait a minute, Tony. Your coach has to know that. Never mind, no way of knowing that.
Has to know.
Your coach has to know that. On the broadcast, they said something, and I wondered about this too. I don't know how it is that the Patriots come about wearing white uniforms, but when Romo is saying the orange uniforms are easier to see in the snow, the Patriots are simply not going to be able to see where their receivers are. If I'm a coach, have to prepare for the idea that the second half is going to have terrible weather. What do you mean there's no way to know that? There is a way to know that.
You figure you're going to be able to get one more, drive, one more score before things go to hell, and they weren't able to.